Okay. Well gone, my one-ohs. I hope you guys are all blessed. Hope you are all well. I don't even know how I'm doing this video. So if I'm sloppy at points, bear with me because I'm doing this straight after a 12-hour shift. But I really wanted to fit this one in for you guys because I did have so much people who I've seen recently at sites ask me specifically about what do you use as your go-to what do you want to call it, secondary, if you want to call it that. And I do have a lot of pistols, but I wouldn't necessarily class them as secondaries because I do, for example, I have in my CQB kit I've got a Glock and a high Capa. The Glock is run as a pistol, but it's not actually a secondary. I never actually run it as a secondary ever. It's actually my main CQB gun because it's fully upgraded. And the high Capa is actually inside of a kit, which technically makes it a rifle because it gets shouldered every time it's shot, and it has a red dot and all of that. But you guys will see that if you haven't already seen it on the channel. And I know some people are going to be like, oh, but your outdoor loadout. To be real, my outdoor loadout is this bad boy here, which is what I call the 5117, because it's a custom high Capa that I've built from like half expensive parts, half cheap parts. And then I run a AR style rifle. So do you get what I'm saying? Which again still isn't pistol, and technically though this is pistol, it has a grip which kind of makes it somewhat a SMG. Somewhat. I don't shoulder it, but I can't holster it, which, do you know what I'm saying? I know you're gonna have some commenters, but hopefully you get what I'm saying, which is why I've done this. So the whole point of this, without chatting throughout the whole video too much, because I would love for us to get into it, is I've been looking for a secondary because there's a few times in Airsoft that, for example, I've been reloading my main rifle or my main SMG or whatever, and somebody just come around the corner, blam blam. And the maddest thing is I've heard them every single time. Or tell a lie, one of the times I didn't hear the guy. I did hear him, to be fair. So the point I'm trying to make is, if I had my main gun and I actually had a secondary that was holstered, it would have given me the ability to say fuck it, drop the mag for a sec and just pull straight from the holster, bam, and deal with that person. And once they're sorted, go through, just clear the area, make sure I'm good, then I can run back around, grab my mag and actually finish my reload. So it would save me that, as well as it's just nice to have the ability that, say something like this happened recently when we were at Mayhem. Say you're out on the field and one of your, like, let's say you've walked from the safe zone to one of the fields, which is like say 8 to 10 minutes away. Not mad far, but far enough that it is going to be an annoying bop there to grab your stuff and then head back. This gives you the ability that you can just put down the main primary weapon that you were using and literally just pull from your holster something that's been chilling the whole day ready to be used. I went for a high Capa platform because I have adapters for days, whether it's the M4 adapter you see right here on this bad boy, this one's from CTM, and then it's just a standard Vorsk mag on top, and then I dashed the little black Power Ranger on there just to make it my little piece. And I do call this the black, as much as it's the 5117. I call it the Ranger, the Black Ranger gun. But why did I bring that up? The point I was trying to make was I need a secondary that's reliable, and I also wanted something. This was another thing. I also need something that, there's times where, as much as I like this gun, if somebody creeps, like this happened to me recently at Mayhem. We're out on the field and this guy's walked out of like a, what do you call it? It's like almost like a wooden castle. He hasn't realized I'm literally camping maybe about 10 meters away from him. So he's literally walked into my perfect line of shot. Now, I'm not gonna lie, as much as this is set to a decent limit, I think it shoots about 310, 309, somewhere around that mark, 308, somewhere around that mark. As much as that's within the limit, when you're beating 2 or 3, and because the trigger's so sensitive, I don't know if you can see this. Let me actually, boom. It's so sensitive that everything you're seeing there, every press, it will deliver. Like even Prezi, big up Prezi, used this last time we went Mayhem, and he was saying to me like, I haven't seen pistols that shoot like this, like yo, pistols out shooting rifles. And I was saying to him, this is a whole 2 years worth of stresses, hassles, purchases to find something and build something that literally does what I want it to do. Like, you pull out the bag, it will literally shoot rifle distances, and if you up your weight, you'll get sniper distances out of it as well. So, which is cool because you can hop, I think it's up to fours out of this. So yeah, it is a beastly little gun. But like I said, I needed something that would always chill in the holster, and I've probably played about 30-40 games and just not been able to have anything holstered, because like I said, most of my guns are in kit, or most of my pistols are in kits, or they're in formats like this, which doesn't really allow me to holster it, and it doesn't have the, you know, some of the high cappers have the holes on the side, so I could maybe get one of the Novarich sliding systems and stuff like that. I've had a lot of people advise that, but I'm not willing to change this lower because it's such a great lower, so that's why it runs currently like it does with the grip. So yeah, I basically wanted something that sits in the holster and is only used for emergencies or backup. I also wanted to make sure it was something straight out of the box that was able to compete with kind of everything else I had in my loadout. So I kind of went for a few different options. So what I've gone for after all this chatting, sorry for such a long intro, is the high Capa custom version of the 3.8. This is actually the Vengence version. I know some people are going to be like, oh, but you've already got this gun, and it's like, not really. So what Vorsk do with high cappers is they've got like their standard versions, and then they've got their custom shop versions. So for example, this started as a standard 5.1 from Vorsk. Obviously over time I've changed the upper to a SSP2 from Novarich, and then obviously it upgraded all the internals to SSP5 parts just to get that boom that you're looking for. And then I've upgraded the nozzle springs. The recoil spring is a Waldo spring. Like you can see, I've upgraded the trigger just for the response, and then I've done things like replace the alloy hammer parts and stuff like that with actual steel parts to achieve the outcome. But yeah, because this is basically meant to be their custom version, I kinda expect a lot out of it, even though I know some people are gonna be like, oh, you went for the 3.8 version. Yes, I have. Well, I have probably owned, in the time that I played Airsoft, I probably owned about 15 5.1 high cappers. It's time to switch the length. And there is a guy I play with, big up man like Papa Smurf, and he is literally the guy that inspired me to go shorty. He's got it's like a purple 3, no, his one's a 4.3 if I'm correct. 4.3, and I took it down the range at one point. Well, I was at the range using my gun, and he was like, yeah, go for it, just give it a try. And it basically, I just fell in love with it, because like I said, I love a high capper, their responsiveness, their reliability, etc. And then to have a short version that you can cut corners and interestingly as well, his one felt like it was short stroked, even though it wasn't. But I guess that's just the fact that where the slide is a lot shorter, say the slide is like this long, obviously the slide, the travel distance for it to reload and then go back to battery obviously is a lot less compared to something like this. And interestingly, this is short stroked number one, and is also got like a, what do you call it, it's like a quick system. I don't know, that's not the right name for it, but like a, I don't know, like a responsive system. I don't know how I would explain it to you. It's like this does return fairly quick. I'm not gonna lie to you. Like there was a game at Future Survival we played, and there was a guy who was a juggernaut, and I've kind of heard him. I'm coming down the stairs, I've heard him like this. You come down the stairs, and then there's like a corner, and then that's like an open area with like walls for cover and stuff. So I can hear he's roughly down there because I know the map, and I'm coming down the stairs. So I was like, let me creep. So as I've come down, I know by the time I turn the corner, he's gonna be able to see me. So I've planned this in my head. I'm like, he's gonna literally be in the door opening way, expecting somebody to come, because he's basically in the best angle to watch all areas off where he currently is, basically because you can see all angles plus the stairs. So I've come downstairs and I've kind of like ducked, so he's shooting towards the wall, but I'm not there, I'm lower, and I've kind of just aimed up towards his chest and gone bam bam bam, and he's obviously called the hit. Appreciate you for doing that, brother, if you're watching this video. And it was so interesting because as I've walked past him, I've kind of gone, thank you for calling the hit, and he's gone, fucking hell, you shot me. What did he say? He was like, you shot me, you were able to shoot me 5 times before I even pulled my trigger. And I was like, I kind of just laughed it off with him and just was like, yeah, just the hike up a build, innit, and just kind of was like, yeah, good play anyway, type thing. But that's what I'm saying about, I expect to, like, well, yeah, my expectations are high because my pistols, they perform. I've heard good stuff, I've heard bad stuff about the Vengeance, but let's just get into it. I've also, on the side, because I was advised about this for cold weather, if you don't always want to run HPA, CO2 mags are the one, because essentially you've got these little gas bottles which act like air, so they're basically like an engine system or a power source that power your mag, similar to how green gas or HPA would, if you get what I mean. The only annoying thing is you've obviously got to put this inside of the mag and then use like a little Allen key thing to kind of like ignite this by bursting the top, which then fills the mag, etc. And then obviously you got to keep in mind that the mag needs to be lubricated and all these things for you to get the best functionality and for safety's sake. So yeah, I thought I'd give it a try. So I think it's about 10 capsules I went for, just because I gained quite a lot. And one of the ideas I had was, imagine having to not have a wire on me if I'm using it as a secondary, which again gives me freedom, movement, speed, all these things, because I'm carrying less stuff. Plus it gives me the ability that I'm basically getting near enough, if not more, than what the HPA would give me, because I'm getting it from a canister. I know some people are gonna say, oh, it's limited, you've got to reload the mag. You're correct, but I'm not using it as a primary. It would literally be, say my gun has dropped or my mag June reload has dropped and I'm about to ignite a back and forth trade-off with an opponent. This gives me the ability to say, fuck it, leave the mag for a sec, bam, straight in there, as opposed to scramble, dodging shells, trying to grab my mag, slapping it back into the M4. Like, don't get me wrong, it makes good content, but like I said, I learned from my gameplay, and recently, I'm not sure if I've left it in throughout the cuts of edits and stuff, but you'll see, like, I've had some sloppy points where I've got killed and it's like, I should really have not got killed then. It's because I don't have a secondary. I know some people are going to say to me, oh, why don't you use the upgraded Glock? But I like my loadouts to be separate. Like, not to be extra, but I do like my loadouts to be separate, because it allows you to not mix things up and get confused. And anyone who has multiple guns will know what I'm talking about. You can get to a stage where you're like, oh, what will I bring out? And now you've got like these 10 options which just really delude you. You end up going out with 3 guns and scrambling throughout the day trying to work out what you want to use. It's long. If you just have if you have separate loadouts with structure, it's very easy to say, oh, the weather's like this, or we're going to this style field, so that loadout makes more sense, or let me use this loadout which has this specific primary, but let me maybe switch out the secondary, or maybe let me switch out, because I'm currently building a DMR, and the point of why I'm doing that, even though I've got these loadouts, is it gives me the ability that if, for example, we're going somewhere where I don't want to run around necessarily a lot, it gives me the ability where I leave my backup gun, which might be this, for example, for outdoors, and switch out my main AR for that DMR, for example. So it gives me the ability that if I go out and I'm like, oh, I just want to walk around, or I want to camp, I bring out the DMR. If I want to run around and do up speed soften, then yeah, I might bring this out, because I know it will deliver, plus it gives me the ability to maneuver. However, I will have to carry a tank because it's HPA. So yeah, without further ado, let's get into it. Like I said, I went for a CO2 mag as a backup, because it comes with a green gas mag and it comes with a CO2 nozzle, so I thought, why not, for the sake of testing. So as much as you're seeing this video, which is basically a quick unboxing, a quick review, a quick chronoing, and a quick kind of first thoughts on it, there will be updates of how I feel about it, similar to how I've done recently with my Spectre Arms AR purchase, I'm gonna be doing that because these are guns that I plan to carry on using, whereas the guns that I just quickly unbox and show you guys, these are not necessarily guns I'm keeping, or if they are, they're not things I'm currently putting in my loadouts. Whereas for example this, it will even come out in CQB, even though I've got a specific CQB loadout. It will mainly come out for outdoor games though, because like I said, even if I for example take this out for a game, I will still have this in the holster. If I have my AR on me, for example, I'll still have this in the holster. So it gives me that little option. Yeah, so without further ado, let's get into it. So yeah, let me put that to one side so you guys can actually see our main point. So yeah, first ideas though. I know some people are gonna be like, oh, do you know what? Let me start another video. Okay, so the bad boy herself, or the bad girl herself, the Vorsk Custom Shop High Capa 3.8 Vengence. I opted for the full black version because obviously I've got my UCARA license, plus the version I actually wanted was out of stock. I was actually going for the grey version with the purple upper and the purple like magwell. The thing was so beautiful. It was like I don't know how you'd call it, like a glowy like it just looked banging. Like it weren't just stock purple, the thing looked great. I don't even know how to explain it to you, like a galaxy purple. It was just so wavy. But it's not the normal purple, because I know they do another purple. Remember, Vorsk do two versions, so there's a standard version of most of their high cappers or most of their weapons, if you want to put it that way, and then they have a custom versions. And I think with the high capper, their custom version is the Vengeance. You'll find this, they've even got 5.1 versions that look similar to this, but obviously they've got the Vengeance upper, for example, whereas like I said, like my ones is stock Vorsk 5.1 lower, but I've changed out my upper. So yeah, let's get into it straight off top. Because it's a custom gun, it's basically like a semi-premium range. The box is different. I love this. I used to speak a lot about boxes in my early videos in the start of the channel 2 years ago. I'm gonna speak about boxes. Companies who give out nice boxes like this, you get a big thumbs up from your boy Yardman9, because it's an experience. It's like going to buy a car. If the car key doesn't add to the feel of the car, or if the seats don't add to the feel of the car, or the way the screen starts up inside the car, or the way your heated seat, like it's an experience. Give me a great experience. I've spent my money, so thumbs up from me on that. Let's get straight into the bad boy. So we're gonna bust that open. They give you a patch, which I do kind of like, and it's stuck in there. Well done. Again, you're making the experience premium for me. One thing I did like about it, I believe, because this is the custom shop version, high capa, you get a patch, but it's in gold. I kind of like that. I'm gonna have to find somewhere cool to put it though. Maybe on one of my outfits, or maybe my body gear. Maybe it's time to switch up my body gear. Yeah, maybe that's the plan. Maybe my body gear. So yeah, for y'all that love patches, yeah, well done on that Vorsk. I'm actually gonna put that to one side because I am gonna actually use that. Then you up here you get like which again, I like this little insert thing, because in the old boxes these were just dropped in there underneath the casing, if you want to call it that. So well done for that. It again adds to the feel, makes pictures look cool. You've got obviously a breakdown of the gun, the part numbers, or part numbers and whatnot, which is always nice if you ever want to rebuild anything. I've built these things so many times, I probably won't need this, but if I ever am looking for anything like a outer barrel or something like that, handy to have, guys, so don't get rid of that. Then I believe this is the manual. So again, just safety info, how to fill your mags with gas, how to load your mags, and how the actual charging process and functionality should work, and how you should shoot your gun. This is another important thing I will focus on quickly. I've seen a lot of people do this with gas guns and shoot them upside down like this. If you like to spend and waste your money, keep doing that, because essentially what you're doing is you're asking gas to operate in a way that it doesn't like to operate. And then what you're doing is you're turning science on its head and saying, fuck it, you're gonna work. And guess what? It will work, because there's force and there's power in whether the green gas mag or the HPA. or even the CO2 cannon start. But what you're gonna do is, pardon my French, but you're gonna, yeah, let's not swear. I've been swearing a lot recently, so y'all help me to stop swearing. But yeah, what you're essentially gonna do is, you see all these parts from your upper, so your nozzle spring, your gas, your gas router, and the plastic bit, as well as the gas router, like all these things, you're basically just doing unnecessary damage to them. So please don't do all this in the hood stuff, and like at sites, cut a corner with a gun and shoot. You know what I'm trying to say? There's an actual functional way to do these things. I don't want to see guns upside down like this, and come on man, I don't know where you guys saw that. I just wanted to speak up because I've seen it so much recently, especially in CQB. But yeah, look after them and they will look after you. I sound like a pet owner. Oh bro. So straight in the box, obviously you get the weapon. We'll come there in a second. Again, I like this little thing here, you know what I'm saying, premium. I even like the casing, it feels premium. For people who don't have gun cases, you defo could carry your stuff around in this and you'd feel like the man every time you bust this open. You know what I'm saying? Because the experience is nice, I will say that. Like, I remember when I unboxed my what was it, the EU18 from Vorsk, and because it was like one of my first airsoft guns coming back into the sport years later, it was exciting, but it was just a standard box, whereas this is much more premium feeling. So well done Vorsk, I appreciate it. So in the box you get, like, I call this like your survival kit, which is nice that Vorsk do this. Most gun providers do it, but some people don't give you as much things. One thing I love about Vorsk is they give you literally what you're gonna need. So you get like this bar thing. Essentially what that bar is the way high cappers function is, and let me show you on this bad boy. The way high cappers actually function is there's like a spring thing here inside this, so that's what supports your beaver tail working freely. And obviously you can't shoot the gun, let me charge it, you can't shoot the gun if the beaver tail isn't engaged. So now that the beaver tail is engaged, now I'll show you quickly. So I'm pressing the trigger and it won't shoot, but if the beaver tail is engaged and I press the trigger, it will fire. So essentially why they've given you this bar right here is what allows that whole system to work. Is there's a bar going all the way through here, and that's what holds your magwell in place, this bar that you can see right here. Now if you don't want to have a magwell on there, but you still use the same bar that's currently in there, for example, what will happen is you have like about 3 inches on that side and 3 inches on that side just sticking out. That's leverage to cut yourself, to harm yourself, to do damage to the gun, etc. So by them adding a shorter version in, and it's probably wise I talk about this because I've never really spoke about this on the channel, by them adding a shorter version in, you could essentially remove your magwell. And some people might be like, oh, why do you do that? There's many different reasons. Some adapters don't like the magwell, some, yeah, we'll be here for days if I go into that. So by essentially using this bar, you don't have to use that old bar and harm yourself, and you'd be able to remove the magwell. So it just gives you, again, better customizability. Like I said, bear with me guys, I am operating on 2 hours sleep after a 12-hour shift. Busted is the word. Next thing we get in there is the CO2 nozzle, which is lovely because I'm due to CO2 this at some point, and run CO2 mags. I'll probably run her for about a month without, I say a month, maybe about 2-3 weeks, because I've got a game this Sunday. I'm due to bring her, but I'm going to run her gas. I really want to see how she performs gas. I might bring a CO2 mag and try and run her with the CO2 mag and the standard nozzle and just see how she behaves. I don't know if that's a good idea or not, but we'll see, because I've got a whole load of upgrade parts ready for this. It's just I want to be able to, oh, how do you explain it? It's like I want to be able to, before I upgrade, I want to know why I'm upgrading, and if something doesn't need changing, then I likely won't change it. So it's why I'm going through that long process. But at least I've got a nozzle in case I have issues, and bam bam bam. You know what I'm saying? And like I said, a long term will probably upgrade it to this one anyway, because I'm planning to use the CO2 mag. They give you a gas one also, which is always lovely because users, especially if you're a new user to airsoft, you're likely to make mistakes. So if you make a mistake and damage your nozzle, and there's many ways to do that. I know some people are like, oh, how would you damage your nozzle? There was a game I lent my gun to somebody, and I'll show you quickly. What they did was they broke this part here, and we didn't know that that part was broken, but essentially that part is what loads the BB into the chamber. So when it does that backwards and forwards movement, what it's doing is moving out the way so the mag can put another BB in the space, and then moves forward to knock that BB into the chamber, ready for gas to come through here, go through there, and power the BB. Now, because we didn't know it was broken, we're charging the gun, it's not loading, taking the slide down, and we're still not realizing it's literally just that bit's broken. It's only when I've taken this gun home that night, I was looking over everything, and I ended up changing the nozzle, and it loaded straight away. So I took out that nozzle, put that nozzle side by side, and I was like, oh my gosh, something as simple as that. So you might think, oh, it's a bit extra, but don't lose these parts. Cause I even have mates who own Vorsk guns, and they throw these things away, and I'm like, you are so silly, because the day your nozzle breaks, you're gonna cry and wish you had saved it. So yeah, save stuff like that. We have the nozzle, what do you want to call this, like the adapter tool. So essentially what that is on the end of the gun you have an adapter that either tightens or loosens the adapter for tracers or silencers and stuff like that. So what this tool here does is it tightens or loosens that system. Inside the case is greasy though. I'm looking at the gun, and the gun is mad greasy. But I think it's because it's been sitting in the box, and obviously where it's plastic, once plastic hits grease, it kind of just like almost like creates like this splash effect. It's not even plastic, it's like sponge. It's like you got this sponge grease effect on the gun currently. So we'll put that to a side for a sec. So yeah, that's your tool. Do save it because it's useful. You're gonna want that thing. Even me, do you know what, now I've seen that, let me just tighten it quick because I am gonna use it. I am likely to want to put an adapter on the end of a tracer on this gun when I'm CQB in it. So if this thing is tight, you literally just, there's two flat sides, the rest of it is circular. So what you're looking for is the two flat sides, and you're lining it up with the two flat sides here on this side, that side and that side, lining it up perfectly, and then it allows you to tighten it round. And some might be like, oh, why do I need a tool for that? It's because this system has two, so as much as like if you hold it and turn it like I did before, it will loosen the end that goes into the gun. But there's also this end right here which comes off and still leaves the adapter on, but it's just basically the rim cover. But they turn both, that like both turnings are opposite ways. So sometimes you're trying to tighten the end in the end of the gun, or the barrel end, but it's loosening this. Do you get what I'm saying? So that's why the tool is so relevant. Trust me, it's so relevant. So I'm gonna chuck that back on. And that just screws on anti-clockwise. And I believe the barrel end, the barrel that goes into the outer barrel, is clockwise because they're opposites. Okay, so that's that. So that tool goes back in there. Do keep these things safe. And another thing I've just realized is they're slightly different colored. The color is very close, but they're slightly different color, the CO2 and gas one. So the gas one is a more rich blue. The CO2 is like a washed out blue color. So yeah, close in color but different. And then you get some O-rings. I believe these O-rings are for things like mags, and potentially like I just showed you, the end adapter of the gun, it has an O-ring on it. I'm pretty sure one of those fit over that. So yeah, probably not adapters, O-rings for your mags basically. And again, you're gonna need those bad boys, so don't throw that away, especially if you run HVA. So I'm gonna put that to one side. Me, I tend to just leave this stuff in the box, because then if I ever need it, all I've got to do is find the box and it's there. Plus, where I own so many high cappers, a lot of these things like the O-rings and the bar and things like that, I've already got anyway. So that's why I kind of leave it in the box, because if I ever need to sell this gun or I end up using the parts I've got, I always know that all I've got to do is find the box and I've got the parts I need. So you be like me and save this stuff, trust me. You'll thank me for that when something breaks. Yeah, so we obviously get the gun. Lovely little piece. Like, my first feeling on it is I love the size. This is a reminder, like I was saying, when I picked up Papa Smurf's gun, and I just fell in love because I love how high cappers seat in the hand anyway. So to have a short version that you feel like you're in more control, then you've got the fiber optic sight, then you've got like a solid sight at the back. It is, and it's an adjustable solid sight as well for different ranges. Yeah, the black thing is really doing it for me. It does look really cool, like almost like a Batman style weapon. Lovely. The plastic is throwing me a little bit because the bottom end is some kind of ABS or something like that. What's the other plastic called? There's another plastic, but I can't think of what it's called. Also, interestingly, I think the magwell, okay, no, that's some kind of metal, maybe alloy or something. Yeah, that's definitely metal. Your lower receiver is plastic. What is the name of that? There's a plastic that is firm but is not the strongest thing on the market, but it's really strong. I don't think it's ABS. There's another one and it feels like it's that, but I can't think of the name. From what I can see, straight first thoughts, it just looks like a standard high capper, that the design is different. Because I don't even have my other 5.1, but like they've obviously changed the detailing on the upper. They've obviously changed, because the other one, the other 5.1 for example, from the standard range has a front fiber optic but also has a back fiber optic, whereas this is a hard sight, which I kind of don't mind. I feel like it adds like a focus effect to the weapon every time you aim, which reminds me a little bit of like the WE Galaxy, because they've done a similar thing where the front is fiber optic and the back is kind of hard, like what would you call it, iron sight, like this one. I kind of like it because I feel like sometimes when you've got fiber optic on front and back, it's hard to focus. It takes you like an extra second and a half. I don't know if I'm the only one who goes through that, whereas I feel like with the iron sight, it's like you use the iron sight almost as like a frame, and then you use the front one as like a guideline of your where is center, which is basically what you're meant to use the aim sights for. Whereas, like I said, when you have both fiber optic front and back, I feel like your brain's trying to work out what center, because everything is fiber optic. Do you get what I'm saying? So it takes that extra second or two just to be like, okay, that's what I'm trying to aim at. Whereas with this, it's like straight away my eyes want to look down the line. You know what I'm saying? And just use this as a framework. So well done on that Vorsk, because yeah, it's nice. I could see this being CQB-able. Lovely.
Hate me, the girls got me on replay. Now my numbers be climbing, I keep it steady grinding, claim they got my back. I dropped my music support, never found it. God the greatest, my kids returned back home. I nearly lost my mind, but that ish gave me backbone. Through the absence I learnt about Job, patience.